it's done on original hardware. You got. Did you bring your cartridge with you?
My SMB3 cartridge.
Yeah. But yeah, so whenever you see those at events, that's what. So it's on original.
Just got that RNG.
Anything we do in practice, we can't do on original hardware. It just makes it more convenient to actually do the practice. For me, go ahead.
Whenever I first started up, did my first run, you guys saw me do the level 1, it looked really nice, and then you saw me do it there and it looked really bad. The way speedrunners work is that level wasn't good enough for me, so I would reset, and then I would reset again, and then I would reset again. And then, like, that is one of the biggest foundations of speedrunning is
The reset button.
yeah, constantly resetting and kind of not stopping until you get what you know you can achieve. You know, like you keep going until you reach your potential, and yeah, sorry.
It's I've been for those who have been out to concerts, you might have heard me say it. It's very addicting. It's just oh hey, I just got a best split here, a gold split, and I can do that again, and then I want to keep repeating it.
Me with
I've
reunion.
heard so many times that people watch and they're like, I could never speedrun, this is way too hard for me. And I literally thought that. I started when I was 16 and I was just trying some of these like tricks and glitches I saw on YouTube, and they were too hard for me. But I just kept trying, and like the very first speedrun I did of Super Mario Bros. It took me over an hour, and now today I have the world record in it. So you never think that you're not good enough if you want to work into it.
Most speedrunners were all at that point, and a lot of what I say is try not to get discouraged when you don't do what you see the other people do.
Yes.
It takes a lot of time.
There's a lot of secondary steps to get there. Like there was one person I was reading something like, I'm struggling with this and I'm not liking it because I'm not doing the best strats immediately. It's just like, let's take some time. The reward is in the improvement rather than the end result. Speedrunning, well, this will go into the 6 o'clock. So speedrunning used to be all you had was the final product that you showed. Now it's just exploded because of Twitch and streaming. You can watch the process is much more entertaining for people than the end result most of the time.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain exactly how this trick is done, but the backbone of it is essentially whenever you glitch down that pipe, it takes you to a door that the game doesn't understand. So what we do is we kill enemies in certain Y and X positions so that it's saved to the RAM, and by doing that, it'll change where Mario is taken when you go through that door that the game doesn't understand. So first thing you do is you want to take this turtle shell. You can tail swipe it. You're going to want to throw it, and you want to make sure the turtle shell is just below this line. Very simple. You don't even have to think about it. You just take the turtle shell and throw it. So step number 2 is kill these 3 piranha plants. I honestly have no idea why. If it is a saved fixed position, they don't move in their positions anyways, so it's alright. Those 2 only move in X, the other one move. No big deal. You gotta kill them. So step number 3, also very easy. You take this turtle shell, you bring it up at the end of the pipe, walk up against this, and the position that this turtle needs to die is exactly where it would die if I run fully up against this and just let go. I kill it, it died in the perfect position.
So why didn't it bounce off the question block?
Because I was up against it and there's no wall for it to bounce off. If you want an enemy to die in a Mario game or Mario 3, you hold it up against the wall and you shoot it and it'll just die instantly. So step number 4 would be the same thing we did on the left side, but we do to the right with this turtle. Just walk right up against it. It doesn't even matter if you're moving. It's the perfect position. You kill it. Then you go to this side. You have to make, I don't know fully why, but you have to make sure that this turtle shell is floating upward. If it's floating upward, you're good to go. This is the next step, which is probably the hardest step. You have to line the very far pixel on the right side up. You have to line this pixel up with this pixel of the pipe. And it has to be dead center. So that didn't work. So no. No, it's 1 pixel inside the pipe. That's it, right there. You can see it's perfectly lined up. So I want to go off the screen, and it's gonna save it there. So I went off the screen. You know how like in games, whenever you load and deload things by moving it off the screen? It's essentially what I did there. Okay, so this last step is very easy. I take damage because it's easy for me, but you can tail swipe and take damage. It doesn't matter. The reason I take damage is because the clip I'm gonna do into the pipe right here that I did before is much easier. So we're gonna wait for this turtle shell to shake. Okay, then we're gonna go in this pipe, and wherever you're holding the turtle shell is the exact position, just hold down, and you go down the pipe, and now it's saved. So those are all the components that you have to do to make the glitch to work. So this next one is, I want to jump in a downward angle and land right on that one side pixel. And whenever I do that, if I hold down, I'll enter the pipe. And that's essentially all you have to do is just jump down into the side of the pipe right at that corner. And as long as you're holding down, you'll go down the pipe. So you can see how I'm missing, and that's why I'm not getting it, and then I lined right up with it, and I got it. And I was holding down so long. So there is a chance that this didn't work. I don't think there has anything to do with the timer running out that would affect it, but sometimes it's just a guessing game. You don't know if you get it for sure or not. So if you follow those steps, you'll be able to do it.
You have a tutorial of this particular run on YouTube, right?
So it's still I do not have a tutorial of this, but if you type in Super Mario Bros. 3 ROM warp on YouTube, you'll find many, many videos. There'll be the Colbert segment where I got it. I used the same strategies. There'll be tutorials from other people, stuff like that. So
How did you ever find that?
so there's people called tool assisted speedrunners, and in this case that's where it came from. And what they do is they break the game apart and they try and play it as fast as possible.
Without this, you can't do human inputs.
Yeah, they take it way beyond what a human can do. They take the game to the fullest potential it could possibly go. And upon doing that,
Yeah.
it's a computer. So they use tools.
Yeah, there's because these games run at 60 frames per second, so they can manipulate every single frame of the game to what they want. So there's some games where you have to hit like the A button 30 times in a second. You can't do that as a human. The fastest is like absolutely 20 and it's not even. So there's like every other frame you have to hit A or something like this. That's
It's fine. 10 seconds, the fastest I press.
Yeah, you're not a fast like man. There's some
No,
really
no,
good
I'm
masters.
in 10 seconds I did 107.
Oh, 10 seconds. Oh, okay, yeah.
It's still 17 presses
Yeah,
a second.
yeah,
which
that's really good. That's good. Yeah.
So anyways, with these tools, they use some tools that expose what's going on in the game visually on the computer, so they can see the RAM addresses, the PPU viewer, and upon doing that, you can see where certain locations of the game show certain values and stuff like that. It's out of my field, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they definitely go looking for
Reverse engineer the game,
Yeah.
basically.
essentially. So, yeah, that's Mario 3. If you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer anything that has to do with speedrunning or the game itself. If there's anything more in the game that you'd like to know, I can let anyone know. But
Go ahead.
Does this work on the Super Mario All-Stars version?
yeah. Oh, this glitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new. Super Mario All Stars is an interesting thing because the speedruns are all a little bit different because the game is engineered a little bit different. Same with Super Mario Brothers Run. There's some stuff you can do in the NES version that you can't do in the All Stars version. Like other forms of this, like this came out on Classic on GBA. I think it did. Yeah. It's probably doable on the GBA version.
Ooh, yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, like for example, I run Zelda, and there's a particular glitch that I use all the time, and there isn't a game that I haven't done on it. Like, is it in Animal Crossing? Like, there's like a whole bunch of classic games in Animal Crossing. You can do the exact same glitches in the NES versions of that. If you can access it, then you can in just the card version. So there's I know in Zelda I've done the glitch in the GBA version. 3DS, I've done it on on the virtual console version.
Yeah, it works on the virtual console.
Yeah.
NES
So all that
Remix.
kind of stuff.
NES Remix it works on too.
What was that?
The NES Remix it works on those, remember?
Yes,
Zelda.
yes, the NES remix it works. Yeah.
Does it really?
For Zelda stuff, I know it does.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it does for
What about that NES,
NES Mini?
yeah, the one
NES
that
Mini?
was like last year?
I don't think so.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably same
It's just like virtual console, basically.
Yeah, it's just they're redoing the code. Or they're not redoing the code, they're just they're copying and pasting it.
Emulation.
So the interesting thing with Mario Bros. 3 is that only 2 fireballs can be on the screen at once. So whenever you're doing like auto scrollers or bosses, it's really fun to do certain matching. If you go off the screen, you can shoot as many as fast as you can press. And the cool thing with speedrunning is there's all these like different little techniques that you can use for matching that do actually help you during speedruns. Like I know some people put it on their lap and like they'll use 2 fingers like this and try and like press as fast as possible. Do you guys have any certain techniques that you use that you'd want to?
How I match is that I don't play games that require matching. Yeah, I'm not a very good
Smart
matcher.
man.
There's this thing called double matching where you use.
That's what I'm about to show.
Oh,
right
okay.
now. So I do this thing called double matching where I use both my thumbs on one button, and it allows me to like. So I hold my left thumb stiff, and my right thumb will bounce the B back up into it whenever I press it. And that
Is that how you get your 17 curve?
yep.
Just do that one.
Yep.
Do you ever have to jump match? Because that's a big.
In Mega Man you do.
Yeah, I know. That's what it comes out like. Do you ever do that though in your runs?
Sometimes. But the cool thing with Mario Bros. 3 is that you can only have, like I said, 2 fireballs on the screen. So mashing doesn't go very far, but using the double thumb is really good because the faster you shoot the fireballs, the faster it hits the object, the faster you kill it. You can't get any faster. So with doing the double thumb, if you're in the air, you can actually jump and move your thumb over and then execute 2 really fast fireballs. So little techniques like that can really help.
The biggest matching in this game is Bowser.
Yep.
How many hits does it take to knock out Bowser?
It's like 30, it's some weird number, it's like 30 something. 35 maybe?
How long does it take you to knock him out?
Just a couple seconds.
Yeah.
With the hammer suit, it's just 2 hammers.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing with this game is that the creators didn't know a way to have Mario clip into a wall without him like dying or losing or soft walking. So what they did is they decided that once you go through a wall, the wall's gonna push you in the right direction. And I don't mean like in the right direction, yeah, I'm going the right way, I mean like into the right, yeah. So it works at every 90-degree angle, as long as you duck jump into the corner, what will happen is that Mario will hit the corner and stand up, and his head will be in the wall, so it'll start pushing you across. So you can utilize this technique and kind of break the game a little bit more in a speedrunning sense. This dry bones is really, really powerful.
Yeah, you're asking about how people find things in game. This trick that he's talking about, this concept is not uncommon in a lot of NES games, especially Nintendo-made games. There's the same concept in Super Mario Brothers. I run Kid Icarus, and there's the same concept. It's just applied differently.
Mega
And
Man.
it has in Kid Icarus, the character moves left when he's in a wall. You try to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it's just you get used to what is common in code and where the glitches are that are common in a lot of games. You start trying to apply them to different games and see what the result is and work off that. And then you can strategize and route games based on that.
So with that being said, I'm going to show you how something like that can really, really, really be beneficial in speedrun. And I'm going to leave it a little bit of a mystery there so we can... I am holding down at the same time while shifting back. So I'm going to get the 2 warp whistles again, and then I'm going to go to world 7. I'm going to do the same level where we glitch the game. Oh crap, I have a feeling. Quest, dude. Hold on, as long as I use one of them. It should be perfect for this.
That's another thing with the power packs and EverDrives and practice stuff. You can give yourself, you can put in game genie codes
Yeah.
and do some practice with
Save states. You can explain those?
Save states that you you know, in emulators, if you've ever played games on emulators, you have save states and you can just save where you are. These have the same concept. You can save the state and then reload it, and you can practice a singular trick or a singular state over and over again, so you don't have to go back and forth. Start the game over and go to the next spot.
So this might take me a couple tries, but as you guys saw, World 7, Level 1, it's a pretty big level. It's vertical. You go all the way up. It takes, you know, unless if you do it perfectly, it can still take you close to a minute. But the interesting thing with the wall clip is that if you, right before you enter 7-1, you can see right there that you have that perfect little setup. So you can actually try and jump in. It's a little bit harder with the tail here, because you like float a little bit, but I'll still try and do it. It's really annoying with the tail. There we go. So, because I did that, the awesome thing is the end of the level pipe takes you right to the end of the level. So if you execute that in a speedrun, you're saving a lot of time. You're not doing the level, whereas, you know, say the world record had it where that level was done instead of the clip, you would have a massive advantage over the speedrun. And that's a lot of what speedrunning is about too. You try and find these little advantages and time saves, and that's how games get pushed really far. But I think that's it for Mario 3.
Yeah. Any other questions on Mario 3? We're going to show off some Mario Brothers as well. Yeah. The original? Yeah, that's what I run. Yeah. Very similar.
That's a perfect question for you.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah.
Have fun at work, Kosh.
Yeah, I was just wondering what like the most popular game to speedrun like ever is.
Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, those are the two, by far, the most popular speedrun games.
And there's you guys run that game at all?
I used to.
I've run it. That game, yeah, there's a category called 16 star. There's a really easy way to like skip most of the game by only beating it with 16 stars. That's one of the first speedruns I learned to do, and it's really easy to learn to beat that game in like half an hour.
Alright. I'm too old for the third dimension, so my games are almost all 2D that I run. So. Alright.
I'm not gonna lie, I find most 2D games much harder than the 3D ones.
Alright, next up. We're going even older now. We're going, see, when did Mario 3 come out?
1988 in Japan and 1990 in America.
Now, Super Mario Brothers
Yeah,
came out in 85 or 86?
85.
I'm all over the place. I've infected every cartridge.
Yeah, I know.
Mario 3?
Okay, Super Mario Bros. 1. Again, like Mario 3, it's just a really straightforward platformer, but there's not the P meter, so there's almost even a little bit less of. It's just like a really simple game. It's easy to understand. You're just running through the level and jumping in precise places. I'm just gonna basically go through the game. I'll make some save states. I can show off what those are, and just try and show off all the tricks. This game is very optimized. Basically, the world record is like throughout. I mean, it's only a 5-minute run, but there's like 10 or so tricks that you can maybe hit 10 or 20% of the time. So to get all of them in a row is really hard. That's why I'm going to do save states so I can show them all off. Right at the very start, you can see it's just very straightforward. But even in the first level, there's an interesting thing. If you go down this pipe, it's actually 3 seconds faster than not going down the pipe. This is the only pipe in the game that actually saves time to go down. And this is maybe one of the most common things people comment on when they see a speedrun. Normally, you're gonna just jump and complete the level, and people look at that and go, "You just slid all the way down the pole. Like, why don't you jump at the bottom, right? Wouldn't it be faster?" But I'll show you why it's not. If I jump down here, the flag comes down all the way anyway, right? So now you're thinking, it doesn't matter where you grab it, but it does. If you grab it at the bottom, see Mario is on this block. He's gonna start walking off, fall, and then keep walking. It's very small,
Yeah.
but if I grab it at the top, when the flag stops, he's here, and he'll avoid landing on the block. That saves 0.2 every level.
Yeah.
Very important time.
Yeah.
That adds up.
In
a
an
lot.
optimized game like this, since
Yeah.
the record is tied to the frame. I told you it was these games run 60 frames per second. So in 5 minutes, that's what? That's
Like
60, that's 60 times
70,800
60
frames.
times 5. That's a lot of frames, and that's tied. So
It's tied by the single one frame at
Yeah.
60%.
so
So now you're thinking the top is the best place to grab the flagpole, right? But actually, this is something that we talked about the tool-assisted runs earlier. Tool-assisted players had found using very precise inputs on computers that you could make it so the flag didn't come down. If you grab it, if you get inside the block that the flag sits on and grab it, the flag doesn't come down. And it was thought to be impossible until recently. Someone, his username is Sockfolder. He ran a bot to just test all these different inputs that might be reasonable for humans to do, and he found a setup that we can actually pull off. My current record I have does it 3 times in that run, and it's really hard. So again, a lot of resetting when you don't get this. Maybe you play the first level for 20 seconds and you don't get it, so you reset a bunch. But I'm gonna try and do it. It might take me a little bit.
remember we're talking about block clipping a lot in Mario Bros. 3. This is the same concept.
So you're trying to perfectly jump into the corner with the right amount of speed and the perfect angle, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to turn left.
It's really complicated to get in the exact position. I'll explain a couple parts. You have to land on this very first pixel right here, and then you basically just like push B and then jump exactly 2 frames later, so like a 30th of a second later. You have to do exactly that, and then some more hard inputs at the flagpole.
You hear in speedrunning, you hear the concept of frame perfect a lot, which is basically means you have to do an input or a movement or something like that. You have 1 frame window to do it, which in most games is 1/60th of a second.
Oh my goodness. I'm
So
gonna.
you normally play on a CRT TV?
Yeah, I do.
So this is a nightmare.
Please save me and explain why I'm bad at this.
Okay, so the flat screen TVs normally have some kind of input delay, and that's the responsiveness between whenever you press the button and how fast it actually reacts on the screen. And most of your movements are based on your sight and your ability to control. A CRT, which is an old school tube TV, that has the best input. Whereas
there's the least input delay.
whereas a flat screen, and he speed runs on a CRT. So for him to transfer to this, it's really hard.
This is on an HDMI modded NES here, so it's not. There's not.
I don't think I got the setup. I'll try it on a different flagpole, but I was trying to make a closer save state.
Okay. So this could be like 1 frame difference between a CRT and this, and it'll still make a difference to us. It'll still feel we're not in our normal settings or not our normal TV and that kind of thing, so it can be a little bit.
Yeah, and this is one of the most precise tricks that is actually like humanly doable. So
Yeah.
that's a huge difference.
Now,
Don't be scared though. I play on flat screen.
yeah.
Like whatever it is, you can get comfortable with it. You just have to be willing to put in the time. And, the frustration.
That's what makes if you watch the GDQ events, this particular thing of changing TVs, changing environments is the most stressful thing for most of us to speedrun.
We get way too comfortable with our controllers, our card
settings,
like the
how we're sitting, where we're sitting, what we're sitting on. That it can be the size, our distance to the TV is another big one.
sound for me not so much.
Dang
Once
it,
I
Nick.
hear the game,
Yeah.
I can't listen to music and grind out speedruns. For me, that doesn't work. I need to use sound for sound cues and visual cues.
A lot of times when people watch a speedrun, they'll see something like this happen, and you're like, why did you not die to the prototype? Well, look, you can die to them. I just proved it. Their hitboxes, basically there's just like a small area where they programmed it to detect if it will hit you. And so, since it's a very early game, they didn't do like the best job at that.
Yeah, hitbox is just essentially for you guys are Smash. A lot of you guys are Smash players, right? You have the idea of disjointed hitboxes, and that kind of thing. It's the same concept in speedrunning. There's a lot of disjointed hitboxes. That's not one. That's just a smaller hitbox. So I mean, in these games, it's all done in squares, pixels.
Most people think the hitbox is the shape.
It's
of
the
the
shape of the enemy or something like that, and that's not true. It's the difference between the actual shape and the actual where something happens, the hitbox. And since it's always a square in these types of games, it's called a box. We call it a hitbox.
I'm gonna try and do the flagpole glitch again.
Any Monster Hunter players on here?
That was close.
So he's constantly loading the game.
Okay, save.
Perfect setup.
There you go. So the
It took like
flagpole-
1 out of. See, that was less than 10% on this TV anyway. You get flag. How often do you get flagpole glitch?
like 20%. On a good day, like 30. But
Yeah.
So doing what you did there prevented the flag from coming down, and you just.
That
how much
saves-
time does that save from the
1 or 2.
fastest
it
way
saves
to
a third of a second per level.
Yeah, a third of a second per level. And for this game, it's required to get the best time. And
You really get determined if you're the best in the world at a game and somebody beats you with these
Yes.
thirds of seconds and frames, and you're just left there sitting, oh my god, like what am I supposed to be able to do? And, that's how you drive yourself to learn these kind of tricks.
This level actually has one of the biggest time savers in the game. This is how you would normally go to the warp zone, to warp to the end. You would hit this vine, you might hit the block, jump up here. You have to watch Mario climb it, you have to watch this vine come up, and then he gets off it and you go. But, I'm gonna do a magic trick. Okay. So normally this pipe takes you here, right? Just a random underground place. But, ta-da! And you might be wondering what the difference was. And it's actually how far I moved the screen over to the right. The way this game works is, the way it knows where to send you when you go in a pipe or up a vine is just by where the screen is at. And the vine is very close to this pipe. So if you can get Mario into the pipe without moving the screen as much as you normally would, then it sends you to where the vine does. So I'll show you how I did that exactly. Every time you jump backwards into a wall in this game, like, you can see there's like a definite spot where Mario is always, he doesn't run farther than that. But if you jump backwards into walls, you'll see slowly I'll start to make my way over towards the right side of the screen.
You're gonna be like under the W world, right?
Yeah, you can see I'm like much farther over than I was before. And that's what lets you go in here.
Yeah, because the pipe and vine are so close together, that zone transition has to be really close to that pipe. And it's the way I envision it's like it's like zone. You're in the vine zone, you're in that pipe zone. You're in
That's
that
the way this
zone.
game kind of works too. Actually,
Yeah,
Whenever
yeah.
you do like editing and stuff,
Oh, really?
it works in little quadrants.
Yeah, and that's how they set it up in this game. Again, that goes back to figuring out what a game does and how it works and that kind of thing. So.
There's some really small things you wouldn't notice. Right here, there's 3 Goombas, and in order to not run into the wall after this, you have to slow down a little bit. You maybe even didn't notice that I slowed down, but I did. If you land on these Koopas right here, just like this, then there's only 2. So I love stuff in speedrunning like that you might not even pick up on, but when you start learning about it, it's like, wow, there's so much to this game that you wouldn't know just if you played through it 1 or 2 times.
If you've heard the word despawn in a game, and if you've ever heard that for video games or speedrunning, that's the concept of despawning.
There's a trick in HS2 called the bullet bill glitch, and it's kind of like the flagpole glitch I did earlier where the flag doesn't come down, but even better. I'll just let it speak for itself when I get there.
This is one of the weird games that works on a frame rule. You'll hear if you watch Super Mario Brothers speedrunning, you'll hear frame rules. Basically, before a stage can start, a new stage can start. It cycles through.
That wasn't quite it.
It'll cycle through 21 frames. There's every 21 frames a stage can start. So if you finish a stage 1 frame before that 21 cycle, you won't lose any time. It'll wait 1 frame and then it'll show the next stage. And then if you finish it 20 frames before that 21 frame cycle, you'll have to wait those 20 frames.
There you go. So you can see the time instantly started counting down. There was no flagpole, there was no walking over here. Because the way the game works is when Mario walks to the castle, this block right here is actually solid, and so Mario runs into it, and that triggers the game to start the countdown and put Mario behind the castle. I touched the flag, and then I didn't like bounce high enough off the bullet bill to actually get on top of this block, so Mario just stayed over there to the left, and it's like, it thinks that Mario just started walking into that block.
So you save a lot more time than
Yeah.
the additional flagpole.
That's why I'm behind this tree, because it's like I'm behind the castle.
Does the world record speedrun have that?
Mm-hmm.
The unoptimal one, though.
I actually lost time because the bullet bill shot later than I wanted it to.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea of how this game works. Now, you'll see a lot of videos where it's like, oh, he should have died because he touched the enemy on the side. Yeah, you'll see that. But when Mario's falling, is that right? He can't be. Anytime he's falling, he wins.
Yeah.
So he could be going down and hit, like a faster enemy's coming down and he's actually going downward, but he'll still get the hop on that enemy and kill it. So there's some really fun things about it you see when you're around.
And a lot of times when people watch the world record video, they'll like leave a comment right here. You'll see something, the player do something like that on the end of these stairs. And they're like, oh, there's a spot you could save time.
I
Someone
definitely
should
thought
beat
that the
this.
first time I saw it.
But I'll show you why you want to run into that. So that looks faster. I didn't run into the block. Everything's fine and dandy until the time counts all the way down and there's fireworks.
Yeah.
That happens anytime you grab the flag. When the timer is a 1, 3, or a 6 right here, it will give me 1, 3, or 6 fireworks.
So
it's
you do
actually,
it to have the timer change, right?
yeah. So I'll slow down a little bit right here, and then 2. I got a 2, and then I avoid getting those 3 fireworks.
And obviously the fireworks are longer than rubbing up against the block.
Mm-hmm. Like about 1 second. This level is pretty much the hardest level in the run, so it's not fun that it's the last one. After you're here, you're nervous that you finally got to run here. I guess I'll just go to the wall jump and explain that. I'll try and show it off first. We'll see if I can.
You're getting the clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's jumping into the wall, and Mario, you can see Mario's kind of like standing up a little bit, right? He's not in his normal jumping position. That means he has one frame to execute an input. So he's trying to execute.
There you go. So normally the way you get here is like that.
But if you can wall jump,
Yeah, you can wall jump as well. There's actually a faster wall jump than what he's doing.
Yeah.
then you do the turn back, right?
Yeah, you turn back and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Because isn't it that Mario actually moves a little bit faster when he's backwards?
Yeah, like accelerating from a stop. It's really hard on this TV because again, you only have 1/60th of a second to jump right there. That's actually a spot where like 2 blocks in the game meet, so it thinks Mario's standing on top of one of them.
It works just like clipping into the wall in Mario 3. Mario stands up, he does the same thing then.
Again, here's another spot where you'll see something like this happen, and you're like, why did he go over it and come back? That's another spot you could save time. But you're not supposed to go in this pipe, let's say that. Oh my goodness, what a pattern this is.
Yeah.
There you go. I didn't go to the water place like I was supposed to. the pipe that takes you here is over here. And so I'm doing another thing where I put the screen in a spot to take me to a different location.
So it's just like the beanstalk part, right?
I have to put the screen over right here, and then that, it thinks that I'm
zone
going
is
down that
changed.
pipe over there.
The 1 pixel where the zone is changed is that.
If you want like the easiest glitch ever to do, you just do that one. And then we have the final room. Ta-da! So that's Super Mario Bros.
To do all that in like one perfect run.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes time. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of attempts.
And you don't have to do all of the extremely hard tricks that we're describing when you first start.
Yeah, it's like I said, don't get frustrated when you're
Yeah,
not
don't-
doing what you see.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. I mean, how many attempts of that category do you think you've done?
Like 20 to 30,000.
Right?
Oh my
That's
god.
it?
I mean,
I've done like that for Zelda.
right? You know, Mario 3, I'm up to the 50s. It's not
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
doing it for so long, so it's.
When you're doing like a world like the world test or whatever, or world record test rather, how many opportunities do they give you? Is it just one shot or?
So we just do them at our house and record them.
Okay,
You don't
okay,
need
so
like a verifier to come and watch or anything
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah, your
that's-
video proof,
But-
if you're recording, you do have your video proof. Yeah, so you take
Yeah.
as many attempts as you want.
Oh,
But
okay.
at the speedrunning conventions that we do, you get one chance.
It's
Yeah.
just one
You
chance.
just get one shot to try and show off how good you are and try and do all these tricks and stuff.
So we call it, so that's a completely different way of speedrunning.
Yeah.
Safe strats.
Yeah, safe strats, they're also called no reset runs, marathon safe strat, terminologies like that that we use to show the difference between the two types of runs. That's why it's been suggested many times at DDQs that, why don't you just, show the record time? Because you can't do this in, like, these guys average what, 5 minutes or so? 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Or so, maybe a little bit higher than that, 501, 502 at GDQ events, because they're not doing these 5-foot flips, chances, and things like that.
Why
That
not?
would just knock you out, because again, 20% chance for 10 tricks.
Yeah.
You want to do something that's like 90% chance for 10 tricks.
Well, I mean, out of those, let's just say, out of those 20,000 runs, how many of those runs did you actually beat the game? Maybe a couple hundred?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
And then how many of those couple hundred was the run actually the world record?
One.
Like 7 or 6.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
So to do that when you get one shot at a convention,
So why were there Beatles on that?
Oh, so if you saw what Princess Peach says, she says, we present you with a new
Oh, yeah,
quest.
Yeah.
So that's actually second quest. It changes Goombas into beetles and they move faster and stuff.
now just one quick thing I want to say is, you saw him loading and reloading save states. For anyone out there who thinks, I don't have enough time, I can't put all this time in speedrunning, try and get involved in save stating, because you can learn all this stuff really fast. And it's the most efficient, quick way. But when it comes to comfort with your ability to play, maybe not the quickest, but
So I can see what I'm doing. I want to show the.
You want this trick?
Oh, you want the I'm not using the right one. I'm not using the right one. Yes. Well, maybe. Okay, well, I'll make sure.
take a seat. Just so you know.
All right. So we mentioned the cutting through blocks and how it can apply to a different game. This Kid Icarus. Anybody? You guys know Kid Icarus? Have you played Uprising or anything like that? They're in hits and smash. So this is his original game. I'm gonna go to a save state in the middle of the game, and we're gonna do the same exact type thing that is done in Super Mario Brothers. It's just it acts a little bit differently. We're gonna try to clip it to this block here, and in Mario they have him go right when he's through a block. In Kid Icarus, he moves left through a block to not go. And we take advantage of that here. This cuts about a minute and a half off of this level normally.
I can also show an example if you guys would like to see in the original Metroid, where you can do
Oh, yeah.
boundaries and wall breaks if you want.
Yeah, Metroid is a similar concept.
Very easy to do.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'll find it. Thank You have to hold on. Just hold. Reset. Yeah. Go ahead.
So the whole like breaking your boundaries and clipping through walls and stuff like that, it applies to the actual like 8-bit genre. It's not just bound to Mario games.
It's
not
not.
just
I
Mario
mean,
where you
the original N64 games are. There's a lot of boundary breaking.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime.
give you a quick example. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Halo
yeah,
5,
like on
lots
our
of out of
64
bounds.
one, we'll be doing a bit more stuff.
So fun.
Because I can. So the interesting thing with this game is that in the original Metroid games, whenever you shoot a door, it'll open, it gives you time to go through the door, then it'll close. Samus doesn't actually go through the door until you're about lined up to somewhere right there. So the cool thing is that you can actually stand in the door and the door will close on you. Okay. Oh crap! I need to get ball form. Let me get ball form.
Yeah. Oh.
Because I can. So there's a trick that lets you abuse the boundaries of the game by using the ball form. And the reason we can do it is that whenever you get the ball form, you just press down on the D-pad, you go into ball form, you press up, you go back up. But if you notice, Samus kind of like bounces a bit whenever you come up. See that little bounce she does? She like does a little bounce there. You're already stuck in the wall, so since you can't move whenever you're in the wall, get out of here. Whenever you go in the, I'll go on this side so you can actually.
Left side usually better.
So I'll let the door close on me, right? And then, since I'm in the wall, if I go into ball form, I'll be stuck in ball form because I can't move the wall. But if I press up really quickly, I can. So I'm pressing down and up right now. I'm using 2 fingers. It's gonna scroll the screen. I'm gonna keep going. Right now I'm on the bottom of the screen. I'm too far left in the screen. I don't think I can walk it up. Maybe I can. Yes, I can. So you need ball bombs to get down here. There's no other way. You have to break the floor. But I didn't. I said, screw that. I want to go where I want to go. So this is something called sequence breaking in speedrunning.
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
somewhere where I'm not intended to. So now I'm going to like the second part of the game before I'm supposed to.
Or no, this is Brinstar's boss area.
Ah, that music though.
So the cool thing with that is that another thing is that if you go out of ball form, you can actually press up and then jump while you're in the air. You can use this as another sequence break. You need a special jump to get into this door down here, but you can use that technique by going like this. There you go. So I need the ice beam, I gotta freeze this guy, I gotta bring him over here and get up, and then I can get it through there. So it's, sequence breaking and glitching is not just bound to Mario games. You can do it in any games. I don't know if you can do it in Gears of War, I don't know with the newer games how easy it is to do, but
that's the only reason you haven't seen as much in the newer games is because they haven't been out it for 30 years.
It's like 30 years. of
So there
development.
hasn't been as much work on them.
But also at the same time, these games give the player more creativity, I find. With the newer games, they set you on a course and like you can't even like abide by it sometimes.
Yeah, some of the new popular games though, they're like I think within like a day of Breath of the Wild being out, there were glitches found.
Yeah. But there's
they're using speedruns.
it's weird with speedrunning. There's these games that always have glitches. Like every single Metroid game has sequence breaks and glitches.
Yes.
For some reason, they just couldn't get it right.
Yeah.
Forever, always.
Oh,
Every
single
Metroid
Zelda
game.
there's something.
Every single
Zelda game is so broken.
broken,
Yeah.
right? Broken. Breath of the Wild. That's one of the newest
Yeah.
ones. Like they just couldn't get it. I don't know what it is.
There's a hovering technique in it, I think.
You like launch yourself.
Yeah, you can launch yourself with like your bombs and your sail thing. Yeah, it's fun to find these. It's why we do it. It's fun to just do this kind of research for. It's fun to actually do it around.
My
something like
favorite part of speedrunning is finding glitches, which I have over the years. I found certain ones for certain games. I feel like that's the most rewarding thing because you're searching for something that you don't know exists, so you're wasting a lot of time when nothing happens. But when that one thing does happen where it's like, you broke the game a little bit, like you broke the boundaries of these professional programmers, it's one of the best feelings. So
And you might think like after playing for so long it might get stale, but it's crazy how often it happens where someone finally gets nearly perfect run, probably not going to get beaten for a long time, and then something new is found, and it's exciting, and you want to keep playing.
I think just the other day I was in one level of Mario and I was in there for 4 hours.
Jeez.
You know, there's nothing in there, there's nothing going on, but maybe one thing can happen. Revolutionize, a game.
Alright. Oh yeah.
Like
I just have to imagine,
shield
like,
breaking.
muscle memory is doing it so many times. It's, similar to a piano piece. You just
Yes.
know it, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you get interested in or involved in any kind of blindfold runs? I see that happening more.
Yeah.
Are
Well.
you referring to the Panga Super Mario World one?
Just, are you interested? Does that personally interest you? To like a
I mean,
blindfold
there's
run?
and we'll get this into the 6 o'clock panel, more stuff like that. There are blind races, fairly common. There's a website, SRL, Speedruns Live, where...
Blindfold or blind?
Oh, blind.
He's talking about blindfolded.
Blind.
right?
Yeah. Just
Oh,
like, guaranteed,
That's actually been done at GDQs.
They're not as common.
They're not as common. I see. The first one that was done at GDQs was Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Speedrun that while blindfolded, because you have a lot of audio cues you can use. Was it Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina of Time, that was Runner Guy.
Okay, yeah. They did Ocarina of Time blindfolded. I know for my game, people have looked into a little bit of doing, with assistance and without assistance, doing Legend of Zelda blindfolded, which is insanely hard because there are no audio cues for screen transitions. So it exists, but it hasn't been. There's been talk. I mean, for the next GDQ event, somebody submitted some more blindfolded stuff. We'll see if it.
But as for me personally, that doesn't fully interest me. The game that I'm the best at is incredibly difficult to do. If you want to beat the game as fast as possible, which would be the ideal blindfold run, right? I don't want to do 100% blindfold. That would take me like a year. But there's things called auto scrollers, and those are the auto moving levels, right? Levels that move at their own pace, and that's right there is what ruins the blindfold run for me. I don't think I'd ever be able to beat all the auto scrollers, and so for me, no, that doesn't fully interest me.
But yeah, it is out there.
Definitely. There's people out there who do 2 players, 1 controller. So one person does the B buttons, one person does the D-pad, and they do speedrunning. So,
There's the reverse too. 1 player, 2 controllers for co-op games. Secret of Mana is one that's very common for that. It does a lot of that. So yeah, they exist. They're like if there isn't there's very little that's new as far as ideas to.
Guitar
and
Hero
we'll talk
controller
a little bit
runs.
More into those in the 6 o'clock. We'll get into where things are going now, what we're doing, what a lot of people are doing now, and that kind of thing. It'll be really. It's really interesting where things are now.
so cheap. Whenever you go through the door, the enemies can still hit you.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Any other questions for?
So when was the last time the world record was broken in Mario for the speedrun?
Which
Number
one? Which
one.
Mario?
The one that you were running earlier?
So it was like 3 weeks ago. I tied it. It was about a year ago when the previous one got set. It's like his name is Darbian that I have it tied with. He got it, and then a few weeks ago I tied it. Yeah.
And how many of the flag glitches do you have in your speedrun?
I did 3, and he did 2. The difference between our runs is that bullet bill glitch I showed. The bullet bill shot later in my run. So like gameplay wise, it's kind of played better because I have 3 flagpole glitches, but they're still tied.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for coming out for a tutorial panel, and then we'll do more of our more overriding.
What is
general-
speedrunning?
What is going more into depth on that at our 6 o'clock one later today. Thank you guys. Oh, and if you haven't done our competition out on the floor, come by. Try to do the first couple of these games that we were showing off. Come having a competition to see who can get the best times in the first 2 stages of Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers 3.
There's
or
gonna be
Lakers if you want to do that.
there'll be a swag bag as one of the
Yeah.
prizes,
Yeah.
and a couple of GTX T-shirts. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah, you're exempt.